404 boleh. 402 ya. Halo, apa khabar semua? Bertemu kembali. Bagaimana? Masih lagi tinggal di rumah? Atau macam mana? Sekarang di luar sana? COVID-19 masih lagi masalahnya besar. So, stay home, stay safe. Khoshee community sekali lagi minggu ini akan membawa satu lagi topik hangat berkenaan dengan Milikan Kosong. Bersama-sama saya pada hari ini, seperti yang saya introduce minggu lepas, Sharon bersama-sama dengan Sarmila akan membantu saya untuk mendalami isu Milikan Kosong atau Vacant Possession yang merupakan lagi satu isu yang perlu kita perhati kalau kita berminat untuk membeli rumah dalam lelongan awam. Seperti biasa, mari kita lihat objektif Khoshee community ini. So, Khoshee community ini disediakan oleh Khoshee Auction and the team, di mana kami mengambil masa untuk berkongsi pengalaman dan pengetahuan di dalam industri lelongan awam hartanah. Kami juga mahu anda bersama kami berkongsi pandangan, soalan anda kepada kami. Pandangan dan soalan anda sila share di ruang komen FB Khoshee Auction supaya dapat membantu menjawab kemusykilan tim Khoshee, iaitu orang-orang yang merupakan ahli masyarakat umum. Untuk pengetahuan all our audience today, kalau yang belum tahu, anda perlu faham Khoshee community ingin menjadi atau ingin memainkan peranan sebagai pusat kesahihan maklumat, lelongan dan bidaan. So, auction information authenticity and bidding information center, bidding knowledge center. This is what Khoshee community all about. So please comment, share our event to all of your friends. Jemput dia orang masuk, and please subscribe to our YouTube we are sharing a lot of our videos in our YouTube channel. And dari sini kita dapat share dengan lebih banyak maklumat dan juga pengalaman kami. Dengan tidak melengahkan masa lagi, saya ingin memperkenalkan dua orang ahli Khoshee community, iaitu Sharon dan juga Sarmila. Tanpa melengahkan masa, mari kita lihat. Sharon, maybe you can introduce again. You have introduced yourself last week. I want you to introduce briefly about yourself this week again.
Okay.
Please, Sharon.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. Those who joined us last week, welcome back. While we are staying safe, we are staying at home, let's also stay informative. Let's learn as much as we can. My name is Sharon Kaur. I have been doing conveyancing since 1995. I have a very great passion about conveyancing, property-related transaction. We always go, we always think of the creative best solution way to buy properties, right? So we will be sharing a lot of information today on vacant possession, Milikan Kosong. So I'll let Sarmila introduce herself.
Hi everybody, my name is Sarmila Vani. I'm practicing under my firm, Sarmila Devika & Co. I've been practice for the past 20 years since the year 2000. Basically, my area of practice is conveyancing and also litigation pertaining to properties. Welcome to everyone.
Thank you, Sarmila. Thank you, Sharon. Alright. Sebelum kita pergi mendalami isu ni, apa itu milikan kosong? What is vacant possession? I throw to these two questions. One question to both of you, please. Sharon.
Okay. All right. So whenever you talk about vacant possession, Milikan Kosong, it's only when you buy a property, when you're going to be owning a property soon. So the very first question all buyers, when they buy a property, which mean having possession in a vacant house, meaning you who will be able to go into the property after receiving keys. Okay, so that is vacant possession. Now, vacant possession in Malay is pemilikan kosong, but if you're handling a lot of sub-sale transaction, then we also have legal possession. All right, legal possession is where the property is tenanted. It's not vacant. All right, so it's either vacant possession or legal possession. All right, so that's the context of vacant possession. Sarmila, you want to add on?
Actually, getting a vacant possession is the best part of buying a property for a purchaser, because you would have spent so much of time searching the market for a good property, searching a good agent, searching a lawyer to do it, and getting a bank to release the loan for you. And then subsequently, you have to go through the process of the transferring the property to your name and all that, and settling the balance purchase price. Then there comes an important day where you should get the vacant possession, which means you have the exclusive right towards the property. Be it vacant possession or legal possession. That is the best part of buying a property, if you ask me. So it also differs, the situation differs when you can get vacant possession. How do you get vacant possession differs from which mode of sale that you purchase the property. Either it's by way of sub-sale or from developer or through an auction process.
Okay, I mean, vacant possession, that means bermaksud milikan kosong ini lebih menjadi di mana saya perlu ambil, I would say, the initiative. Di mana inisiatif itu perlu ada kepada seorang pembina atau pembeli rumah lelongan. Okay? Adakah saya perlu risau perkara ini selepas saya menang dalam bidaan ataupun bagaimana, Sharon, Sarmila?
Okay, I will explain in the context of buying a property via subsale. All right. So if you buy a property via subsale, then before before buying the property, before signing the booking form, you would actually view the property, inspect the property, go into the property. So it's there. It's at that moment you will be able to know whether is it vacant? Is there anyone staying there? What's the condition of the property? You will know all that from that moment. Okay. It's important that during before you actually commit yourself into paying money towards booking into the property, you view the property and see who is staying there. Is it going to be a vacant possession? Is it going to be legal possession? So, and then everything will be drafted in accordance to what you want in the sale and purchase agreement. So this varies if you buy via auction. So Shamila, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, via auction, the most important thing is the bank which sells the property does not deliver vacant possession to you. So if you buy through an auction, vacant possession is not guaranteed. Upon settling the balance purchase price, you can actually take possession subject to whether there are occupiers. Occupiers meaning could be the defaulted or the previous owner or the tenants of the previous owner and all that. So that's why before bidding for a property, you should actually go and do a thorough checkup on the property, check the condition of the property and check whether anybody occupying the property or not. Because the bank, it is stated in the condition of sale itself, be it laka auction, which means the private auction or high court auction, it's stated in the condition of sale because the property is sold as is varies basis, subject to all the occupiers, tenants, and the condition of the property. The bank does not deliver vacant possession to the purchaser.
Okay. That's an interesting point that you pointed out, Sarmila. As is varies basis. Atau dalam perkataan lain, keadaan sedia ada. Dalam keadaan sedia ada. So, dalam keadaan sedia ada bermaksud adakah hanya bergantung kepada physical condition macam itu sahaja kan? Ataupun even beyond that?
It is physical condition and subject to tenants who are staying there, occupiers who are staying there, and subject as to what we have discussed in our last talk, caveats, and also other restrictions in the property. So I think we have spoken about doing land search to ensure, what are the encumbrance on the property and all that. So apart from that, today we are going to focus on what if there are people who are staying in the property. How are you going to handle such situation? You don't have to worry. You just have to approach them, talk to them, and tell them that in case you have bought the property, tell them that you have already bought the property, and maybe you can give them a reasonable time to move out. You can do that soft approach first before taking another drastic approach.
Okay, I just want to share with you through my experience. This happened many years back, and one of my customer, after they bid for that particular property, and they in fact approached that particular tenant and told him that the ownership now has changed and they are the new owners. In fact, they need to go until to the court to vacate them. And after they got a court order, during the grace period, the court gave him that particular tenant to move out. A lot of things happened to that house. He actually vandalized the whole house by removing the wires, and even on the drainage system, we start putting in cement. And in fact, the new owner need to come up with a lot of money to bear the cost of the flat. The point I'm trying to make it here is that dalam keadaan ini, bila penyewa dahulu itu tidak mau keluar ataupun tuan rumah itu tidak mau keluar, maka saya perlu ambil some action. Apakah durasi ataupun duration yang that we are looking at from the date that kita masukkan kita register under our name, daripada hari itu kah yang saya ada kuasa untuk ambil tindakan, atau saya boleh ambil tindakan immediately selepas saya menang? So mungkin bahagian itu Sarmila and Sharon boleh highlight atau go into detail on that.
Okay, kita dapat kuasa ataupun we gain our right when we become the owner of the property, meaning the property already transferred to our name. Upon settling the balance purchase price and all the outgoing charges and all that, your name will be transferred to the property, and then you have the right to remove the occupiers of the property by way of court order. If at all the soft approach does not work out, then you can file the eviction proceedings in court.
What is the timeline that we are looking? Apakah tempoh masa? Daripada tarikh saya menang berapa lama, atau saya kena lihat before soalan itu, saya telah menang pada hari ini, maka saya ada kuasa untuk immediately take the reasonable action untuk remove dia. Adakah saya ada kuasa? Soalan pertama. Soalan kedua, kalau tidak, bila saya ada kuasa?
That's right. Kita akan ada kuasa bila nama kita telah didaftarkan dalam property. When you become the legal owner of the property.
So not as a bidder. After I win, I don't have the power?
No, you don't have the power. Only upon settling the balance purchase price and the property is transferred, you have the power to evict the occupiers of the property.
Okay.
So that court process might take around 2 to 3 months if it's not heavily litigated. If it's litigated, then it could drag more than that.
Okay, Sharon, just to get some input from your side, what will happen if, let's say, they don't want to get removed and you need to go into litigation and fight it out in court? What will be the valid reason that this particular eviction notice to be disputed?
Okay.
Sarmila, anyone? Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to share an experience. I handled an auction matter where the occupiers in the property was a tenant. All right. This tenant claimed that they had interest in the property. Okay. So using soft approach did not work, because when my client paid the balance purchase price, immediately my advice to my client is under the proclamation of sale, you are able to now obtain vacant possession. All right. So you can go into the property. So they know that there's a tenant there. They knew, they did their background check, but they just didn't know what is the extent of the tenant's interest in the property. So the tenant has been staying there for 10 over years with a child. So husband, wife, and a child staying there, child going to school there, very comfortable. So what are the chances of them leaving the property? Zero, because they are so comfortable there, right? So what happened was my client tried negotiating with them, asking them, okay, never mind, let's sign a tenancy agreement. And the tenant says, why should I sign a tenancy agreement with you? I have paid to the previous owner under an agreement. So they showed my client an agreement. There was an agreement entered, all right, with this tenant. And actually, it was an outstanding payment owing between both parties, and they contract it off with the property. But the saddest thing was there was no transfer being done under the tenant's name. So the tenant thought everything okay, I'll just stay there, not knowing the owner did not pay the housing loan, and it went through auction. So my client went to court, and the court actually took an approach. They were in favor of the tenant. They studied all the agreement, and they saw a valid reason for allowing the tenant to be there. So my client bought the property 30% below market value. All right. So cash buyer. All right. Cash buyer. She paid cash, but she's not able to now get into the property. So it was a loss on her part. She has paid money to the bank, balance purchase price paid to the bank. So she couldn't get the property because there was a valid reason for this couple and the child to be in the property. So
Very interesting.
that was something very we were all taken aback, because we always thought that once you pay balance purchase price, you are the beneficial owner. Your name may not be registered yet, but you are the beneficial owner under the proclamation of sale. But if there's a tenant there and you have paid money, but you do not have the property with you, you can't hold the property yet. So that is something very
so how long just to interrupt you, sorry,
2.5 years.
Given without rental.
2.5 years, no rental. So it was a 30% below market value. My client is an investor, so she didn't. Yes, she was upset. She tried all efforts. She spoke to him. She tried selling the property to him, thinking that he could pay her something. But the court ruled that he actually has all the right to be in that property, because he had actually paid so much for the property in other means under another separate agreement with the owner. So what the court told my client is, maybe you may want to speak to the previous owner and see if the owner, the bank has got any excess money to be refunded back to the owner. So my client approached the owner. So that was another issue they had, but my client was at a loss lah.
Oh, very interesting, Sharon. Very interesting. I never came across this kind of issues. So that means even previous tenant, if they have legal documents per se,
yes,
you need to be careful there. So vacant possession is not a small matter, basically.
It's not. So like what Sarmila says just now, you got to do a thorough checkup. So it's like a thorough checkup that you want to know who you know there's an occupant there, but you want to know who is the occupant. So when you know it's a tenant, you don't stop there. You find out in what capacity is he staying there. Is there a tenancy agreement? So you go all out. You do your due diligence. So due diligence, again, we stressed this in our caveat talk last week. Due diligence on the owner, on the occupier, on the property. So it's a must.
So I just, out of curiosity, Sarmila and Sharon, you mean due diligence, any other bidders out there, the top 10-15% that always participate in auction, do you mean they also do due diligence before they buy?
Based on my experience, many doesn't. The only due diligence the only thing everyone has in their mind when they buy an auction property is caveat. Hey, got caveat lah. Hey, do land search. Hey, check got caveat lah. That's the only thing actually. 90% in their mind would be, is there a caveat? But they do not know that vacant possession is another important thing they have to look at. You know? And also, what if the occupier is really like, they said this big gangster lah in the taman. They jaga the taman lah. So, and I'm like a small investor here trying to make money. I went and bid for this property. And suddenly I came to know that, hey, this one gangster lah, how they got this special gelap club in the taman, kongsi gelap. So, so all that is so important. And it has happened before. This is all experience. So there are so much stories. I'm sure Sarmila can share her fair bit as well. But there are so many instances where you buy auction property and you still cannot get into your property. because of you have occupiers like this.
Sarmila, how about you, Sarmila?
For me, I have come across a matter whereby my client bought the property, and there was an occupier in the property, which is the previous owner himself. So this previous owner, actually, as what Sharon has described, a person who did not want to give in easily, a kind of gangster kind of person. So the court proceeding actually took around 1.5 years for my client to actually get the vacant possession. But eventually they got the vacant possession. I guess if it's the previous owner, it's much more easier, because previous owner was there, defaulted the bank payment, bank did an auction, and the bidder has all the right to evict the previous owner who's occupying there.
I mean, I'm just confused now. I mean, the owner staying there, new buyer came in. I mean, I don't see they have rights to even dispute or fight it out. What was the main reason and the case was dragged so long?
No, they were going on technical points, like something wrong with the auction. The auction was not done according to the procedure and all that. So that was the main defense for them, and they were claiming they were still entitled for the property. They have paid what happened to the payment that they have done earlier and all that.
So they went on a technical grounds.
Technical grounds.
To nullify the whole auction process itself. Okay.
Yes.
Alright. Okay. Talking about that. Okay. Berkenaan dengan Milikan Kosong ni. Because I'm trying to use two languages here. Dua bahasa. So that saya mau juga rakan-rakan kita yang kurang faham bahasa Inggeris dan juga yang boleh faham bahasa Inggeris yang bersama kita di Malaysia, bahasa Malaysia perlu ditamakan, even mahkamah pun bahasa Malaysia juga. So I'm trying to use two languages so that we cover as many group of people as possible. Okay, saya nak faham sikit, saya bilang. If let's say dalam syarat jualan telah pun diberi dengan jelas bahawa milikan kosong itu bukan urusan bank atau pihak mahkamah tidak akan mengambil apa-apa tanggungjawab untuk memberi milikan kosong. Mengapa begitu? Why not they give? Is there any reason why? Mengapa? Ada sebab tak? Mengapa tiba-tiba? Bukan tiba-tiba. There's no one taking the responsibility. What could be the reason?
As far as I can think, the reason could be because bank, they are not, they are the industry of giving loans and providing financial assistance to people, and based on that they give a loan on a property, and the owner did not fulfill his obligation under the agreement, a loan agreement. So bank as the chargee, they have the right and they have the statutory right under the National Land Code to sell off the property and to recover the money to settle the balance loan. Okay, so they are not in the industry whereby they have to go and evict people and they have to check on whether the property is in a condition to be sold and all that. So that's why the bank is taking the approach as is various basis. They do not want to get involved in other aspect. For them, it's recovery of the unpaid loan.
Yeah. So,
okay.
please. Sorry, I just add on. So when someone buys a property, they take a bank loan, they sign a loan agreement, and it's clearly stated in the loan agreement that the bank is giving you money. So in return, you are charging the property back to us. But there are a few clauses in the agreement which has never read. Most of the borrowers don't read because it's just too thick. They say that you got to comply, you got to pay your quit rent, you got to pay your maintenance, you got to pay whatever you have to pay. It comes with the property, right? So you must also inform the bank that when you are entering into any other agreement, you got to notify the bank. But many of us don't do that. right? So
Correct.
as far as we are concerned, we have charged the property to the bank. As long as I'm paying the bank every month their housing loan installment, that's fine. But why did the bank put all this condition in? Is because they want to make sure that the loan is being paid, and if there's a default, then the property goes for auction. Even that is in the agreement, right?
Correct.
So as far as the banks is concerned, I've already give you sufficient notice that you are supposed to do this. You did not do. I auction your property. Now, as far as the bank is concerned, I just want my money back. I'm not going to take responsibility of checking out who is staying in your property, whether that person staying is a occupier or a illegal tenant or illegal occupier. They don't go to that extent. They don't even bother if your property has half roof. They don't care. They auction the property, they get their money, they pay what is due to the owner, and that's it. They focus on the next property. So this is how
Okay,
it
I
is.
would like to just to interrupt, Sharon. We have one question from Erina. Vacant possession between auction property and subsale is different. Is it different?
Yes, it's different. It's totally two different things. In a subsale property, when you talk about vacant possession, you are actually talking about a house which comes with a key, which comes with access cards, which comes with maybe if there's akan remote control, auto gate remote control. So those are the deliverables. You call it deliverables under the subsale S&P, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
when we go and do due diligence and we want to buy a subsale property, we actually check out the property. Okay, the property has an auto gate. The property has, I don't know, maybe it's fully furnished. So you will inquire about the warranties, all whatever which comes with the property, right? So all these will be spelled out in the sale and purchase agreement. So
This is under developer unit or subsale.
Okay, so this is subsale. This is under subsale. But assuming you're talking about direct developer, even direct developer, when you buy a property, assuming you're buying a fully furnished property or even non-furnished, you still get a full set of key, maybe 3 sets of keys, right? And if you have a guardhouse, and maybe if you have an access card entering the unit, so you get all that. So direct developer and subsale, you actually, when you talk about vacant possession, you actually see the keys of the property.
Okay.
So, but when you talk about auction, you don't see anything. You just hear this clause to say that the moment you pay balance purchase price, you are the beneficial owner of the property. How you're going to get the property, how you go in, who is inside, what is inside, it's not the bank's problem.
Oh, so that means the difference is clear when we compare subsale and auction related properties, right?
Yes, very true.
Okay, come back again to our topic today, which is vacant possession, Milikan Kosong dalam Lelongan awak. As an auctioneer, I came across this issue some time back, and recently when I did one high court auction, we were asked to read one script inside the auction room to the potential bidders, and one of the clauses that they asked us to read to the customer or to the bidder is that, please take note. It sounds something like this. Please take note that after the property is being auctioned, the bank relinquishes its duty on taking care of responsibility on the property, and please take necessary action to protect or something like that to the bidder. Previously, that particular clause, which I say is a gray area. You see what's going to happen now? I mean, just to highlight, kepada yang baru masuk ni, tolong share kepada all our friends, and this is a very good topic today. With regards to vacant possession, Milikan Kosong. So Milikan Kosong in High Court auction condition of sale clearly stated that now there's no one to take care during bidding date up to full settlement. During this period, previously, this was not stated in any of the condition of sale, and it's a considered gray area because nobody knows who's responsible. For bank, they'll say, no, I'm not responsible. My job is only to sell. Court says, yes, I'm actually helping for the whole process to be fulfilled. Whereas the owner, the bidder, cannot even go in front of the house because he has not paid in full. During this gray area, what's actually the position of the bank, what's the position of the bidder? Maybe Sharon and Sarmila can highlight it.
Okay, if you buy a property through auction, once you sign the auction contract on the day after
Memorandum, auction
memorandum of
Yes.
sale, the risk in the property will be the sole risk of the purchaser, which means the risk has passed to the purchaser, whereby the purchaser has become the beneficial owner.
Right.
So from the day of the bid till the day it is registered under the name of the bidder, the property is at the risk of the purchaser, which means whatever happens to the property, the bank will not be responsible.
So even if the property caught fire and nothing there, then it's all my duty.
The risk has already passed. If there is a case of fire and all that, maybe the fire, there must be a fire insurance policy and all that. That will come to help the bidder.
So that means that policy, Sarmila, sorry to interrupt. So that policy taken by the previous borrower, insurance will cover, or the new buyer, new bidder need to go and get insurance?
The new bidder's insurance will start from the day that they obtain the loan. They get the loan. When the loan is disbursed, the bank will get a fire insurance policy for that particular property. So this if it happens before that, before the buyer obtains the loan or before the loan is disbursed, then the previous policy should cover that property.
So because it is still registered under the previous owner's name, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, what is actually the reason the gray area being just left out like that without being highlighted until now? What would be the reason, Sharon? Why there was no clear-cut black or white kind of decision was not made earlier?
I guess maybe because I don't know. I've heard of some properties with no fire insurance policies as well. It's only as of late the bank insists that all purchasers who's going to be taking a bank loan, they have to get a fire insurance policy. So I have asked this question many times, that why wouldn't the bank want to take responsibility? But I think it's such that as far as the banks are concerned, it's from the fall of the hammer, all responsibility passes to the purchaser, the successful bidder. That's it. They are already incurring loss in regards to their non-payment of housing loan installment interest, right? So for them to actually go into and take responsibility or owning a risk during this period of time, actually doesn't make sense. So I think it's clear now that as far as auction properties are concerned, it's the moment the fall of the hammer takes place, the fall of the hammer, then all risk passes to the successful bidder immediately. Can I say that? Is that correct, Sarmila?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because most of the condition of sale has such a condition, upon the signing of the contract, the memorandum, the property shall be at the sole risk of the purchaser as regards to any loss or damage.
Yeah.
So it's very clear.
So Jeevan, so you see, auction, you know when the risk passes. But now let's make a comparison to subsale or direct developer. So when you're talking about subsale, the risk passes when the property is transferred to the when it's on the delivery date. Okay. So when is the delivery date? When the purchaser the bank has released the loan to the solicitor. So the owner is ready to deliver the keys. It's that date. That's the delivery date. The risk passes. So it's not from the time I sign S&P. It's not from the time the fall of the memorandum is signed, but it's the time where the bank has released the money to the lawyer as stakeholder, and the owner is now coming forward to giving you the key. So that is the delivery date. So as far as sub-sale matters are concerned, the risk will only pass on the delivery date. So when I get the keys. So long as the matter is not completed, the transaction is not completed, maybe there's a delay, the risk is never on the purchaser's hand. Same goes to direct developer. For direct developer, they have, during construction, they have a car policy, contractor all risk policy, right? So anything happens will be under that contractor all risk policy. So when will the purchaser, when is the risk of the property passes to the purchaser? It's only when the keys is being collected upon delivery of the property. So it's a totally vast difference between auction, sub-sale, direct developer. So when does the risk pass? So it's clear cut. For auction property, it's the moment the hammer falls, the moment you become the successful bidder.
So what the potential bidders need to do in order to so-called secure during that great period? What kind of action can they take so that they can somehow secure the property?
Maybe I think you meant in regards to how do they minimize of all this happening. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically auction properties, they go into auction properties when it's always below market value, right? So actually it's a commercial decision all successful bidders make. When you go into an auction property, you're already paying less. I personally feel that you expect all this to happen. You expect the worst, but you have already allocated your funds. Should anything like this happen, you have a backup plan, meaning you have funds there to sort it out. So it's a risk. It's a risk, but it's a calculated risk. So when you enter into an auction property below market value, you're already saving 20-30%. So you have the 20% with you. So all this is something you should have knowledge of, that it's bound to happen. Halfway through, something may happen and the liability falls with you, not with the bank, not with the previous owner. It's with you, the successful bidder. So I guess with these successful bidders, what they have to have in mind is that they go into an auction property purchase, they have to be all ready to expect the worst. Yeah.
So I mean, that is the reason. I think this is what the public always misinterpret when you mention about auction. They always feel that auction means cheap, but the what you call cheap or lower or below market value that has been set by the market. We need to offset it. The differences can be offset to the whatever contingencies that might
happen.
So, yeah,
correct. So like the example I gave, my client who did not get the property, she bought it at a very low price, but that money now has gone into a litigation proceedings and she lost. So this
litigation proceeding and compensate 2.5 years of the rental.
Yeah.
So when we go in, that is the reason. Sebab itu, saya dalam bahasa pula, sorry sebab itu bila kita pergi beli rumah ataupun Beli Hartanah di Lelongan awal, jangan mangkisi mangkidu kind of idea. Jangan lihat kawan sebelah, rumah sebelah ataupun rakan sekerja beli rumah Lelong berjaya, maka saya pun boleh berjaya juga beli rumah di dalam Lelongan. So itu mungkin dia tak buat apa-apa. Mungkin he was lucky. Rumah yang dia beli tu memang tak ada apa-apa masalah. semua tak ada caviar, tak ada orang duduk kat situ, rumah pun tak ada apa-apa hutang yang berlebihan, and market, below market mungkin lelongan kedua atau lelongan ketiga, di mana 10% harga dah turun. So, he was lucky. So, my experience says that luck itu, kita jangan, nasib itu jangan terlalu kita rely on. It should be calculated risk, as what Sharon said. It's not excellently described. We need to have this calculated risk in our mindset before kita ingin menjadi seorang pembina dalam mana-mana hartanah. So I just want to take one question now, Sarmila and Sharon. If auction property tenant purposely spoiled the unit, what action we can take? Legally, how much is the cost? So I believe the question is, can we take action on that tenant? Number two, what will be the legal cost like?
Okay. Of course, you can take action because you have the right as the owner of the property. When you evict them, you can also claim for damages and all that. The cost of the proceeding, we cannot fix it at one price. It could be a couple of thousands or more, depending on how lengthy is the matter, how lengthy is the hearing of the court matter and all that. Like Sharon said, after so many years, the matter was in litigation. So of course that will incur more costs. Or some people, they get it very fast, depending on whether the other side is objecting to your application or dragging the matter. So it all depends on how lengthy is the matter is in court. So I guess it's in the thousands.
So can we say 5,000 below or in the range? Yeah. Could be. Depending on the lawyer, depending on which lawyer.
Depending, for me, I will say depending on the how long the procedure actually goes on in court, how long the matter goes on in court. So around 3 to 5, or maybe around, could be a bit more than 5 also, depending.
Depending on how viciously we need to fight it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Mujibur Rahman, I hope that we have answered your question. Bermaksud kita memang boleh lawan benda ni, memang kita boleh ambil satu tindakan mahkamah terhadap penyewa. Pada masa yang sama, kos itu bergantung pada sama ada penyewa itu pun ambil seorang lawyer dan find it out. Dia kata bukan saya yang buat, ini memang ada di situ, dan kita terpaksa bawa specialist untuk identify bila kerosakan itu berlaku dan sebagainya. Kemungkinan kes ini akan berpanjangan, so lebih lama dan lebih banyak specialist dan perlu dibawa masuk untuk identify, to verify the whole thing. Cost dia akan bertambah. So all that will happen. So I would like to answer to Jack Tan. Jack Tan, thank you very much for your question. Thank you very much. Please support our event today. And for your information, Khoshee community is based on Pusat, Kesahihan, Maklumat, Lelong, dan Bidaan. Auction, Information, Authenticity, and Bidding Knowledge Center. This is what Khoshee community is all about. And Jack, I would like to answer your question. For the auction property, what are the issues the purchaser might face? Okay, Jack, what you need to do now, take note, every Thursday, 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Come to this particular page, link,
yeah.
And we are actually dissecting every day, every week on each topic and on what are the issues that a bidder might face. So you can go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we even putting it in a bite-sized kind of videos where you can go to a particular question and answer, get the answers from our expert, Sarmila and Sharon, for that matter. So I hope I've answered Jack Tan. Jack Tan, every Thursday, 4 p.m. All right? Thank you very much. Okay. Coming back to, we have Shogi. Shogi is asking one question. we have another viewer. Sorry, may not be relevant. Here, I would like to post the question. My pop has gone through a first option, now towards second option. Shogi, this is definitely a very specific question. So basically, Shogi is asking how to stop the auction.
Very interesting.
Okay, thank you, Shogi. This is a very specific and technical question, which I need to answer you separately later. Okay, thank you. You're welcome, Jackpan. Thank you very much. Oh, Erina got a question. This is out of topic question. Oh, saya ada rumah sewa para penyewa, tak payah sewa 3 bulan. Tenancy agreement stated tak payah more than 2 months kena keluar, tapi tak mau keluar dan buat macam rumah sendiri. What is my right? So never mind. We see whether we can help Erina. What's the right? The tenant did not pay for 3 months and don't move on. What can be done?
Action.
Yeah.
You can actually commence legal action if at all the tenant you have approached them, they do not want to move out, they do not want to pay, then engage a lawyer and you can do a legal action.
So this is under read, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Distress.
So that means distress. Erina, ya, kena ambil tindakan mahkamah. Boleh jumpa mana-mana lawyer berdekatan bersebelahan rumah anda. Kalau tak boleh, kalau you orang Penang, boleh jumpa Sarmila. Kalau you orang KL, please jumpa dengan Sharon. They can assist you. Alright? Definitely. Thank you. You're welcome, Shogi. Thank you very much. And coming back to our topic again, vacant possession. So, vacant possession, the rights only comes to me. Ataupun saya hanya dapat kuasa on vacant possession setelah saya telah membayar penuh. Saya telah membayar penuh dan penyewa ataupun tuan rumah itu tidak mau keluar lagi. What is the first action that I need to do? Apakah perkara pertama saya perlu buat? Adakah saya kena pergi jumpa polis, buat polis report, atau pergi mahkamah, atau jumpa dengan lawyer, atau jumpa dengan jiran, bagi tahu dekat dia dan sebagainya? What I must do first? Now I already buy, now I already know. If once I bid, kalau saya dah menang dalam bidaan, tidak bermaksud saya ada kuasa. Tapi lepas saya bayar penuh, sekarang saya dah ada kuasa, apa patut saya buat dulu? What is the first thing that I need to do?
Okay, the first will be the soft approach, as I mentioned earlier. Approach the tenant or occupier, talk to them, ask them on what basis they are there, and then explain to them who are you, that you have purchased the property through the auction, you are the new owner now. Tell them, okay, I want the, let's say you want the property vacant. Okay, tell them, okay, I'll give you time, maybe 1 month or 2 months or 3 months to move out from the property. Okay, if you want to engage, if you want to maintain them as the tenant in the property, then you can discuss with them, okay, the terms of the tenancy, and then you can do up a tenancy agreement with them. Let them continue staying in the property. Maybe for some time, don't hike up the tenant, the rental, and then perhaps later on you can hike up the rental and all that. So that is we call soft approach. So that we don't have to go to court, we don't have to engage a lawyer where time and money is involved. So we always encourage people who have bought from auction, take the soft approach first, give them the time to move out from the property. If at all it doesn't work, then only you take the drastic action of engaging a lawyer and then starting the eviction proceeding.
Okay,
Because you have to.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yes,
Sharon.
yes, sir.
It's okay. Sorry, I just want to add on. Before we actually, perhaps maybe the moment he has bid for the property, he or she has bid for the property, 10% paid, memorandum signed. So he goes and sees a lawyer, right? So what we would always want to, so if the bidder knows that there's someone staying there in the property, we would actually, as the successful bidder's lawyer, we will actually serve a notice to the occupier, just to put on record that this property has been purchased via this auction dated and all that. And we just tell them on notice that in maybe 2 or 3 months time, you will have to vacate the property. So perhaps that would be the first thing we need to look at, because based on my experience, it was only with this approach that we sent a letter to the occupier. It was only then they knew that their house was going for auction. They didn't even know their house was going for auction. So it was from this letter they came to know it was for auction. And then what happened after that was they wanted to stay there. They haven't been paying installment because they didn't have money. But whether they didn't know or not, that's another issue. Apparently they did not receive any notice whatsoever. So they actually arranged a deal with this successful bidder. Later, upon completion, when the bidder paid the balance purchase price, he became the true owner. He actually struck a deal with the owner. He actually sold the property to the owner back. Right? So this has been happening. It's been happening many times. So how much he sell and all that is all depends on how they negotiate with each other, right? So I think the first thing the lawyers should do is, if you're acting for your successful bidder, these are the questions you ask the successful bidder: whether your property has got occupier. You need to ask all these questions, because the successful bidder may not even know that. He will be like so surprised. It's like, kenapa you tanya saya soalan itu? Then you will have to tell him that, bukan, kalau ada owner, macam mana owner tu tak nak keluar, macam mana? He'll be surprised because the successful bidder doesn't know that it's his responsibility. And do you know that there are some successful bidder, they think that there will be keys given to them by the bank. So they will ask, puan, bila boleh dapat kunci? And then we'll explain to them, sebenarnya tak ada kunci. Pemilikan kosong ni, bila you dah bayar balance purchase price pada bank, you terus boleh masuk rumah. Then kalau rumah tu kosong, kalau ada mangga, then you pecah mangga lah. You are the owner. You are the owner of the property, so you can do that. So we have to advise them. So
okay. That's one. I mean, just to add on to what you said now, Sharon, I came across this issue, and by chance, even one of our viewers, Mujibur Rahman, also asked the same question. Actually, thank you, Mujibur, for asking that question. Actually, prompted me to ask you this. Property already transferred. Nobody's paying. All right? Of course, Mujibur is asking this question. Let me read out the question first. For auction property, do we have rights to enter the house if the tenancy agreement not under new owner? Number one. Number two, like make a police report and ask them to move out. Possible to be done? Okay. So let me read out again the question. For auction property, do we have rights to enter the house if the tenancy agreement not under new owner? So this question, I even want you to answer. Do we even have a right if we have done an agreement, or we are the real tenancy agreement signed between the tenant and the owner? Two parts I want you to answer. Do we have the rights even we have signed agreement? Do we have rights if we don't sign the agreement to enter the house? Can we answer this one first? Let's say I'm the new owner. Can I enter the house? Go and see the house.
At which point you are the owner, meaning you have paid the balance purchase price?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a tenant still staying, but can I enter the house? Can I tell the tenant, hey, look, I'm the owner, I want to go and have a look inside? Do we have, like, even the tenant don't allow, can I go in?
Sharmila, you want to answer this? Because I've got another approach for this, but I don't know it's right or not. Yeah, Sharmila, I leave that to you.
No, legally speaking, you have the right to enter. But if there are people who are staying there, for my advice is don't, because if you enter, anything happens to the things in the house or whatever, they will blame you. They will pass the responsibility to you. So if I'm the owner, of course I have legal right to enter, but I will not enter if it's occupied.
Yeah.
If it is occupied, okay. So that means question number one, Mujibur, do you have rights to enter the house? Even you have signed an agreement with the tenant, you still need to get permission from the tenant to enter. Am I right to say that?
Yes.
Number one.
Definitely.
Since you have not signed any agreement, you don't have, although you have rights to go in, but you don't have rights to go in since there's somebody is already staying there. If anything were to go missing, don't tell me you can make police report. He can make a police report against you saying that, his money, about 5,000 he kept on the table, missing because Mujibur, you went inside the house and came out. I mean, he can twist the story.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, yes,
Betul?
Yes. Betul.
Okay, now I have this question called Sharon and Sarmila. If let's say this particular property, nobody's staying, locked. So that means after I bid, I cannot go in, correct? But after I paid in full, now I have all the rights to go and unlock the house and go inside the house. Assuming when I want to go and unlock the house, I picked through the window, then I saw there are still many household items inside the house. Do I have the rights to open and go inside? Or I need to take proper legal ways to go inside the house?
Okay, assuming there are things in the house, but the house is not occupied.
Correct.
Okay, so nobody's staying at home. Okay, you as the owner, you have the right to enter the property.
Okay.
Because you bought the property as is where is basis. The property you couldn't enter and see it earlier. Now only the first time you're entering and see it earlier, and as the capacity as the legal owner of the property. So I would say that you have the capacity to enter the property.
Okay,
Unless
but-
it's occupied.
Okay. I don't know whether it's occupied or not. Okay, this is what happened. One of the properties that my client wanted to buy, end up he didn't buy because actually he won. He did not pay in full because he bought very high. What happened? The front door always locked. That particular occupant will only enter the house from the back door. So from the front, it looks like nobody's staying. But there are so many household items inside the house. And in fact, later only they found out that there is actually somebody staying there. If let's say I would go inside the house from the front door, and after I open, without, so can the tenant or whoever staying inside the house take legal action against it? Or how can you come in? You shouldn't have come in because I'm still staying here. Or after a week, or maybe I went overseas, that particular guy went overseas or out session work. When he comes back, the house is somebody staying inside. And he's actually the tenant, where all his items, his furniture, still inside the house. What will be the next course of action?
Okay.
Or to pay safe side, can we take another approach? Can we, like, whenever you see things inside, can we, like, okay, it's better for you to take court order or police report or something like that? Can it be done that way?
Yeah. Okay.
Can.
Yeah. So whenever we have a property where there is only items inside, no human being, only items, we will actually advise the successful bidder just to, for safety reason, you go and make a police report just to put on record that you have actually you have paid the balance purchase price. You are the owner under this auction, and you are now entering the property. So you're doing this report to protect yourself because there are items in the property. So you just do a police report just for your safety, lah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sarmila, on your side, Sarmila?
Yeah, I will agree with Sharon. Let's say, the property is full of, maybe it could be valuable items as well.
Yeah.
So then probably you make a police report and enter the property.
Okay, we have one question. It's related to whatever we're discussing now. And but Teo Kiap Singh got another better idea. Check this out. For auction properties, after get the property transferred, if the new owner go to the house and see that the house has other movable items, can he take it or can he dispose these movable items?
I think I want his number. He's got a great mind. we never thought like that.
Yes. Thank you very much, Theo, for your excellent question. Yeah,
I-
please,
I think-
Sharon.
Yeah, I think this is between him and God. I don't know. If he really wants to go ahead and take the item, then no one knows. So it's between him. No one knows. But then again, we always play safe, always make a police report.
So can he, like, once he enter, he some sort of like make a recording of whatever that is inside the house, or send some photos for record purpose. Future,
Yes.
there's no other issues. Maybe you'll say there's a fridge or there were TV inside and all whatnot. So at least from the video, at least we can justify that it was not around. So looking from there, I think we go for, we take another one more question. If anybody got questions, please. If not, we can move on to our last part of our section today, Sharon and Sarmila. What is the number one point that you want to highlight in this vacant possession, Milikan Kosong ini? Apakah satu benda yang rasa, okay, viewers, benda ni, you must make sure that you faham. What one thing you want to say about the Milikan Kosong? Okay, wait, before you answer that, one question from Erina. If the movable item is motorcycle, what can I do with it?
Lodge a police report, and then if I will wait for a reasonable time, for in case somebody wants to come and claim, maybe about 3 months, then you think of the way whether you want to use it or dispose it.
But motorcycle is registered under JPK.
You can.
So I'm buying the house, but inside the house there's a motorbike. Somebody parked the motorbike inside and they went missing. I buy the house, I open, there's a motorbike. So now the motorbike, does the motorbike, do I claim the motorbike? Do I have the rights on the motorbike? Yes, no? No. Because I'm only buying the house. Unless the motorbike was one of the lists under the auction list. Correct?
Yes.
Alright. So Erina, boleh pakai kat kampung lah, tapi tak boleh bawa kat jalan. Atas jalan tak boleh. Because that motorbike doesn't belong to you, you need to go and register. And if let's say you go and claim the motorbike is missing, and Erina yang pakai, then you are in big trouble. Unless it is stated dalam persiapan jual Lelong, rumah ini dijual dengan kenderaan sekian. Yes, you have all the rights to go and transfer the property under your name. So, Erina, I hope we have answered you. So, we are at the end of our Milikan Kosong pada hari ini, topik Milikan Kosong. Sharon, Sarmila, maybe one or something that you want to let the viewers, listeners know all about Milikan Kosong and auction. Anything that you want to, any advice, Sarmila?
Okay. If you're getting a property, through let's say subsale is okay. It's a safe way of buying a property whereby the sale and purchase agreement will be drafted according to the needs of both parties. If there is a tenant in the property, what will happen to the tenant, or whether that tenancy will be assigned over to the new owner and all that. So it's a very safe deal. But if you're buying a property through auction, then you're taking a calculated risk, as what Sharon has said. Of course, you are buying it below market value, at least 20% to 30% below market value. You are buying the property. It's a good news that you are buying below market value. At the same time, please do due diligence, find out what are the conditions which is attached to the property, be it like what we discussed in the last talk about caveat, and also now whether there are occupiers of the property. Do a background checkup, go and talk to the owner, the neighbors of the property, and find out, who are the people who are staying, or maybe you can also talk to them, find out in what capacity they are staying, whether as the previous owner or tenants, or could be illegal squatters as well. So that you get an idea, how are you going to deal with that issue later on once you become the legal owner. So you can tell them, okay, I'm buying this property, and what are the next costs that they are planning. Actually, they should move out from the property, or you can also make a deal with them. Okay, I'm buying this property, but you can stay on with the property. I can do a new tenancy agreement for you and all that. So sort it out. If the best is to sort it out even before you go and bid in the auction process and become the owner, so that you don't have to spend so much of money, and time also will be wasted before you can actually get the vacant possession of the property. So I think that's very important.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Sharon, how about you, Sharon?
I think Sarmila has covered everything. Very important. She has mentioned that due diligence is important. My advice to everybody is, don't be afraid of bidding for a property. Don't be afraid. Just be more alert. You want this property, you go and do your background check. You go around that area. You speak to your neighbors. If you know there's someone there, you start negotiating with them from the very beginning. So you actually have imagine you're comparing this with a subsale property. You can't do that if it's a subsale property, right? You cannot negotiate with the owner and speak to him about all this. But the only good thing about auction is you really want the property, so you have to find other means to find out more about the property, the occupier, searches and all that. So from the first talk we had last week, we spoke about due diligence. We are speaking about due diligence again. So basically, when you talk about auction, it's equivalent to due diligence. So due diligence on the property, on the owner, on the occupier, so many other parties involved.
I mean, apa yang kita boleh berkatakan di sini berkenaan dengan rumah Lelong atau Hartanah Lelongan ini, dia lebih melibatkan bukan sahaja sama ada rumah itu di bawah harga pasaran. Itu merupakan satu attraction terhadap properti itu. Itu sahaja. Selain daripada itu, kita kena melibatkan banyak faktor-faktor yang perlu kita perhati dan make sure kita ikut, seperti keadaan rumah itu, kemungkinan rumah itu, kalau rumah lama kita put aside contohnya a certain amount of money untuk repair. If rumah lama, wiring dengan plumbing ataupun pipe air kemungkinan akan rosak, and if let's say ada roof leaking, berapa dia cost dan sebagainya. Sebab itu bila kita beli rumah lelongan, selalunya kalau selain daripada rumah lelong itu merupakan rumah lelong yang baru saja dibina maksud saya dalam hitungan 5 tahun, kita dengan risiko untuk beli rumah itu tidaklah seberapa. Tetapi jika rumah itu adalah rumah yang lebih daripada 5 tahun atau 10 tahun, 15 tahun, 20 tahun, maka kos-kos wear and tear itu perlu diambil kira dalam perkiraan sebelum kita even think of buying. So due diligence dalam apa yang Sharon dan Sarmila berkatakan tadi, due diligence maksudnya adalah perkara-perkara yang perlu kita selidik dahulu. Ada banyak soal selidik perlu kita buat. So jangan ambil jalan mudah untuk beli rumah lelong dengan ikut orang sebelah rumah, ataupun yang selalu saya katakan bijak pandai kedai kopi. Jangan duduk di kedai kopi, dengar orang minum kopi itu bagi tahu, dia kata senang saja buat itu, buat ini, sebagainya. Dan disitulah kesalahan ataupun kemusykilan yang mungkin muncul yang kita tidak dapat cover. So kita ada seorang lagi, Iswardi is an auctioneer, my friend Iswardi. Thank you Iswardi for your question. For auction property VP apply after paid balance purchase price or after property ownership transfer. Okay, sebenarnya Iswardi, soalan ini kita telah jawab awal-awal lagi. Anyway, you will view kita punya video kemudian. For your information, you can ask for VP selepas bayar penuh. Selepas bayar penuh. Thank you, Iswadi. Thank you very much for your support. Please share. We have event every Thursday 4 PM. Kita akan dissect, kita akan masuk secara mendalam isu-isu yang dipertikaikan dalam industri lelongan hartanah. So this is our concept, di mana Khoshee community merupakan pusat kesahihan maklumat, Lelong dan Bidaan, ataupun auction information authenticity and bidding knowledge center. Ini merupakan objektif kami, di mana kami ingin membantu 85% rakyat Malaysia yang tidak arif dalam lelongan hartanah. So jangan takut, ini merupakan sakitnya dan ada ubatnya. So ubatnya dalam bentuk dua wanita yang bersama-sama saya pada hari ini. Sarmila, kalau saya ada masalah, saya nak jumpa Sarmila, di mana saya boleh jumpa? Any contact ataupun detail atau di mana lokasi office Sarmila? Mungkin Sarmila boleh share sikit?
Ya, office saya di Seberang Jaya di Sunway Business Park.
Pulau Pinang?
Level 5, Sunway Business Park.
Di Pulau
Di
Pinang?
Pulau Pinang. Di Pulau Pinang.
Ya, di Pulau Pinang. So, viewer-viewer yang berada di Pulau Pinang, anda boleh jumpa dengan Sarmila. She got 20 years of experience. So, she's actually one of our panel lawyer for Khoshee community. Sebab itu senang untuk kita communicate dengan Sarmila dan sebagainya. So, you have any issues, kalau you need any details about Sarmila's contact number whatsoever, please PM us. We'll share with you later. Sharon, if let's say I have issues and I want to come and see you, and for your information, Sharon, I know Sharon since from schooling times. I know the whole family, and Sharon is one of the leading lawyer in conveyancing di Kuala Lumpur dan Lelong. Sharon, kalau nak jumpa Sharon di Kuala Lumpur, di mana nak jumpa Sharon? Macam mana?
Okay. Office saya di Puchong. We are in Bandar Puchong Jaya, Skyport Square. So if you need my details, then you can request PM Khoshee community lah. So you can get my details from them.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you very much, Sarmila. Excellent event today. For your information, Sharon, Sarmila, and the full team, next week we are going to talk about the advantages of buying property in auction. And again, I invite Sharon and Sarmila to be part of it and share your thoughts, share your experience, how your client who bought auction properties and what are the gains that they obtain, and what about the advantages that you can see from there. Maybe you can share. We can share together next week, 4 PM, Thursday. So, Sharon, thank you very much for your excellent. Your excellent sharing today and your precious time, Sarmila. And as usual, the best, and hope we can create more people of Malaysians participating in auction-related properties purchase. So for that, thank you very much, and I would like to share with you. Please like our page, comment, and please share with your friends and family members, and also please subscribe to our YouTube, Khoshee Auction YouTube channel, whereby we have many other videos, and I've done videos 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and we have one video that I did live auction, and it was one of the highest viewed video in Malaysia for auction-related property. So you can go and see when I was young 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. So the video. All right. So thank you very much, and hope to see you next week. Thank you, Sarmila. Thank you, Sharon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.